Ugly beats pretty in sports, business, and especially in marketing your company. I have learned this hard lesson over the last 31 years as an in the trenches, bloody-nosed businessman and entrepreneur. I learned this in my 22 years as a professional and amateur hockey coach and team owner. And I have had this ugly beats pretty philosophy principle enforced even more working with elite driven and generous businessmen like you under the hood of their different companies and businesses over the last 10 years. Ugly beats pretty. I have always found that whenever I tried to gloss things up, whenever I tried to make things pretty, professional, whatever you want to call it, it always ended up costing me attention. It ended up costing me leads and opportunities to sell. I've been using what I like to term ugly personality marketing for the last easily 30 years in business and in sport. And I've used it to compete against bigger, better financed corporations, whether it was in the hockey business, fighting against, the NHL and the NBA and the NFL for attention, to sell tickets to fans, to sell merchandise, to recruit players. In business, in the insurance business, I used what I term brass balls personality marketing in the insurance business to compete ugly beats pretty with the larger, massive direct writer insurance companies, the Geicos, the Progressives of the world. And I've used it as a consultant to stand out amongst the world of the stale, dull, boring, me too, everybody the same. Look at me too. And personality marketing is what separates us, especially in 2022. It allows you to stand out from all of the noise, the chaos, and the clutter in today's world. And as I mentioned on our video the other day, it allows you to arrive at your perfect prospect's home, to grab their attention and communicate as a welcome guest, not an annoying pest. 99% of businessmen try to cut through the noise and the clutter by being louder and more brash and interrupting annoying pest, as opposed to personality marketing, ugly beats pretty, where we literally work to work and build a relationship, stand out as a real person, a live person, a person that personality that shines through, a relationship, a friendship with prospects and clients that makes you stand out like no other. And this also really helps you spend and invest less money when you're trying to compete against these better financed corporate juggernauts. And I've used this strategy in multiple businesses. And in this email, I actually referenced 3 signs, 3 USPs, unique selling propositions that I used. Ugly beats pretty in 3 very different industries to stand out, to become number one in that particular niche market, and to really cut through all the chaos and the clutter and the noise in the marketplace. And I would arrive as a welcome guest as opposed to an annoying pest. The first sign actually comes from my number 1 ranked barbershop, 5 years and counting. And that sign is actually the sign that we decided on Brass Balls Marketing, and it's the USP for our barbershop. So my barbershop that I invented is called Father and Sons Barbershop. It's a licensed barbershop. The kids get Coke, they get Big League Chew, they can, you know, Archie comics is like stepping back in time. And really it's been a home run in terms of the barbering industry. But the USP that I created, which is a sign on the corner of the busiest street in our community, is if we can't make you look good, you're ugly. And I can't tell you how powerful that slogan has been to people that have a great sense of humor, people that are not low IQ looking to be offended, and how powerful it's been for the men and the children that come to our shop and spend money. It may be a little offensive to somebody who, you know, has zero sense of humor. They're not the happiest person on earth, but they're also not a prospect or a client. They're not spending money with our business. So this sign has become famous. It's all over the internet. The local media did an article on it, not just our new business, but also our sign and our USP. And it brought us all kinds of positive, I repeat, positive free publicity, because it was something so different, something so unique, and something so bold that it literally launched my next to invisible brand new barbershop. It put us in a category of one, it put us in a league of our own, and it was the talk of our community for at least one solid week. We even had our mayor involved in it. He was offended. He's the type of guy who is offended. He's offended by small business. He's offended by capitalism. He's offended by self-reliance. So this was the perfect response that I wanted in my small community. The last thing that I wanted from this guy was to be approved or anointed. So this got better and better for us, and it gave us the opportunity to just kick butt in the barbering business and get off to a rock solid start. This is why for 5.5 years we've been the #1 ranked barbershop in the country. And I launched this shop in 90 days, 60 days to put it together, another 30 days to perfect it. And we've been #1 in the country for the last 5.5 years. If we can't make you look good, you're ugly. Another Brass Balls sign USP, unique selling proposition, that I used was in the insurance business. I wanted to stand out from the stale, dull, boring, humorless. And in this particular case, I decided on a 3-prong approach, which once again went viral. It was all over the internet. It's on many sites for funniest signs, wow signs, whatever, in our small community. And our 3-prong USP for our #1 insurance agency for 15, 16, 17 years was great rates, award-winning service, free pizza. And that referenced our amazing rates. We had competitive rates. The second thing we had is multiple awards for our service. And the 3rd prong referenced our free pizza, that we bought a free pizza every Christmas or Thanksgiving for every one of my 9,000 clients. I would literally send them a happy Thanksgiving letter or a Merry Christmas letter with a free large 1-topping pizza in it on me. And I did that contra deal. I wrote the letter, and that was a massive smash success for a number of years in our community. It just completely put me in a category of one as an insurance agent. It separated me from everybody else, and it generated tens of thousands of dollars of free publicity for our family agency. Literally tens of thousands of dollars of free publicity with that simple, even controversial sign. And once again, that sign was something that was brought up by local politicians. I don't know if our mayor was involved in that one. I hope he was. But lots of controversy with it, very polarizing. And what does being polarizing do? What has it done for Howard Stern and Rush Limbaugh and Johnny Carson and all these guys? It attracts that perfect person for your business, and it repels the 99% of the time wasters, cheapskates, or whoever you do not want to attract for your business. The third example I'll give you is from the hockey business, and I had fun with this. This was 22 years ago when I owned my own junior A team and the Smith Falls Bears. And we had this incredible 200-year-old arena. It was literally built back in the war times. It was the smallest ice surface. The seats were made of wood. It was dark. The lighting wasn't that great. And they called it the Old Barn. And they called it the Old Barn for a reason. It had so much character. It had so much personality. But it reminded me of the old Boston Garden, the old Chicago Stadium. It reminded me of those rinks where when you used to have home ice advantage, where the opposition would come in and say, wow, we're intimidated. These fans are on top of us. You know, the music's pounding. There's people in the stands. It's just intense. So what I did is when I bought the team, I went and I sold the naming rights to the arena for the first time. So it was no longer called the Memorial Center. What I did is I went and sold the naming rights to the arena to Subway. So what Subway did is they fed our team for the entire year. It was a 5-year contract. Tens of thousands of dollars of food. They made subs for all our players on games. They fed us after home games. They fed us on the road, that kind of deal. And the huge name that I put on the front of the arena was Theater of Pain. And I took a page out of Motley Crue, the band Motley Crue's book or album at the time, where they had the Theater of Pain on their album, the smiling face and the theater frowning face, you know, the smiling and the frowning. And I literally had these made. They were like 32 feet high, and the crane had to put this up, and we put this on the building. And in the middle was Subway, and above the Subway sign was the massive sign, Theater of Pain. And the controversy that this created in our league, especially other teams, the whole thing, we ended up on TV, we ended up on radio, we ended up on cable shows. It was just crazy. We also ended up going from last in attendance when I bought the team to three straight seasons that I owned the team. First in league attendance, first in ticket sales, first in season ticket sales, and first in corporate support. In other words, money. And I'll never forget our opening night with the Hanson brothers, the 3 Hanson brothers from the movie Slapshot. I brought those guys in for opening night. We had almost 3,000 people in this 2,200 seat arena. The Theater of Pain sign lit up, the big Subway sponsorship, the smiling face, the frowning face, and I believe we made national TV that night in terms of look what these guys are doing. Once again, done in a small community. Ugly beats pretty. Do you have to have guts and mental balls to do something like this? Yes, you do. Is the payoff worth it? In my experience, yes, it is. I want to be in a category of 1 when it comes to my companies, whether it's a barber shop, an insurance agency, or a hockey team. I want to be in a category of 1. I don't want to have any competition. I don't want to be the same as everybody else. I'm not interested in the stale, the dull, the ordinary, the mediocre, or the average. I am interested in the wow. And the wow for me in marketing has always been taking the other road, doing the exact opposite of everybody else is doing, and having a sense of humor and having fun with it. And also having the alligator thick skin that you repel 99% of the people that are never going to do business with you. They're never going to spend money, and using their fake outrage, their fake anger, their fake whatever to sell more of what it is you're selling. To constantly curate, cut the rope, but also attract the absolute perfect prospect to your team, to your barber shop, to your restaurant, to your law office, to your insurance agency that you want. That's what I was able to do with all three of those badass brass balls, ugly beats pretty signs. Speaking of ugly beats pretty, I still do have a few of my $155 million swipe files. If you're interested, you can go to badassswipefile.com, and you can buy your copy. It's $1,001. I'll ship it to you on my dime anywhere in the world by FedEx. It's everything I've used, including just what I discussed in the hockey business, the insurance business, the barbershop business, to sell well over $155 million of products and services. And I've done it belly to belly, toe to toe. I've done it with newsletters, flyers, magnets, social media, TV, radio, direct mail, direct response. I've done it with phone scripting. I've done it with special phone scripts that I've used, with a special employee commission structure. I have it all in the big ugly box that I mail to you, I ship to you. It's the ugliest product you will ever buy, and ugly beats pretty. But everything in that box, including the free bonuses, a copy of my old insurance book, which is out of print, How to Not Get Your Ass Kicked in the Insurance Business, all of it comes in this big, massive, ugly box. And you can use all of it or some of it or any of it as your own. It's all for you to plug and play. You can use the pizza letters, you can use the Christmas letters, the thank you letters. And here's the other thing. If you pride yourself as a community service fundraiser like I do, you can use all of my fundraising ideas, my mailings, my flyers, my direct response letters that I used to sell tens of thousands of dollars and raise for the Rotary Club, for the animal shelter, for our local food bank, and for children's literacy. It's all in my ugly $155 million swipe file. So if you're interested, you can grab one of the last copies at badassswipefile.com. If they're gone by the time you see this video, no worries. I'm not printing anymore. I'm getting rid of these out of my garage at home in Canada. If there's none left, I will take down the registration site right away. So you won't be able to buy it and then worry about me charging your card. That's not going to happen. If the site is still up at badassswipefile.com, that means there's still a few copies left. Just a word of warning before you click or even think about buying it. The product is not for businessmen who play not to lose, and it's not for the thin-skinned, and it's not for the desperate to be liked, or it's not for a businessman who's always worried about, what your golfing buddies think or what your brother-in-law thinks about your marketing. This is for champions, not chumps. And you do have to have brass balls, and you do have to have that mentality of curation and cut the rope. And you do have to have a desire to stand out from the ordinary. Champions stand out. Chumps fade into the background. Personality marketing is all about standing out and putting your best foot forward. And this is what this swipe file is all about. If you're worried about what other people think, if you're one of those, business and marketing candy asses, do not buy one of these, because you won't like it, you won't use it, and it'll end up on the shelf with the rest of your impulse buys from before, and it'll never be used. Don't take the opportunity away from somebody else who will use this. Don't take the opportunity away from a lion, okay? A lion, not a sheep, because I only have like 35 of these things maybe, and most of them are gone. So if you are interested, badassswipefile.com, and I'll ship it to you on my dime. Like I said, it's $1,001, which is a fat $1,000 discount. I usually sell them for $2,000, but I do want some space in my garage. My wife Krista wants these gone. They're completely updated to 2022, and let me just say, just using and executing one of these simple things is just a complete and total game changer. That's it for today. Michael McLean, ugly beats pretty. 2 words that changed my life and 2 words that will change yours. Be relentless.